Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. It's time for Friday night in the Homestead, and tonight's topic is gardening essentials, plans, and budgets, and seeds, and tools, and soil, and everything you're going to need. And here I am. Hey, I just got back here about half an hour ago from babysitting the grandsons across the street. Got next Wednesday night, and then I have to worry about it till the end of March again. All righty. So let's see who's all here. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to throw something up here. There we go. The standard, share it out, get more people prepared. The more prepared they are, the less likely they are to come after your stuff. Wait a minute, that's going man prepping. No, that's homesteading too. That's everything. All righty. And, ooh, wow, I just noticed something here. I'm just looking at everything here, and it's weird. That is weird. Because it shows all my moderators over on the side here on StreamYard. And I forgot to give a couple of them here out. So let me go ahead and I'll get around to it here in a minute. And it's the Marshmallow Man. It's been a channel member for 5 months here. But let's say our first one in here was CR, Creative Redundancy from North of the Border, followed by Mad Chick Acres, Mark. Then Walt Rogers, who's shoveling snow over there in eastern Idaho. Sorry, froze. Western Idaho. I'm in eastern Idaho. He's on the other side of the state, and he's north of Idaho Garden Girl a ways. All righty. Who else came in here? Phelan Clan Wolf, Chipper 66, Kaylin Strain. Glenn at How to Garden, Rick Thielen. I know I'm mispronouncing it. I need to have it spelled out phonetically once first so I know how to say it from then after. And let's see here. Jujubee's here. Hey, Juliana. And Lewis is here. It's the Marshmallow Man. And there's his, I'm way behind what you guys are seeing. Rachel Knight is here and she's lurking. Josh Skinner Farms is here. And okay, so any of you gardeners want to come up, because everybody I see in here, I'll trust to come up. Close. Hey, my uncle, but for my entire life, butchered my first name. It's Guilford, like the movie star Jack Guilford. All right, he called me Gilbert my entire life. Okay, all right. So, yeah. So, spring is not anywhere close to coming here to Idaho. It is snowing like you would not friggin' believe out there. While I was watching the grandkids, get them interested in a movie like The Incredibles 2, or they're all glued to the TV. I'd slip out the door there and grab the snow shovel and clean off the driveway a little bit there so my daughter could pull up and walk into the house without slipping and falling. And so I cleaned it off, spread a little ice, spread some ice melt out there, come back in, keep an eye on them, and sneak back out, do a little bit more of the driveway. I mean, I was shoveling stuff that thick off the driveway. Tomorrow morning, I know I'm going to have to fire up the tractor and go out there and clean my driveway and their driveway tomorrow. It's that way. I checked off, it's in the house now. Western Idaho almost had a spring day today. Yeah, and then that was this morning. Then it should be snowing now, or at least raining, because farther north up there was at least it's snowing somewhere farther north. I'm going to say where somebody is at, but he's north of Boise. a ways. And snow, it snowed and doubled the snowpack. Yeah. Hey, at least I'm hoping we're not the Sierra Nevadas in California. Their roads are getting shut down already. By Sunday, they expect to get 12 feet in areas above the 5,000 foot elevation, which is most of the Sierra Nevada mountains. I think, hang on, let me look it up here. I'm going to pull this up and look it up here just to get the actual thing on it. D-O-N-N, Donner Pass. Elevation, Donner Pass is an elevation of 7,056 foot. So that's 2,000 feet above the possibility of 12 foot. And up there by Donner Pass, where the Donner Pass rest area is, it's closed, and they've been packing snow in there to get it off Interstate 80. And there's other areas. Okay, so and I'm just going to show this. That's a Donner Pass. And they got the pictures flying around here. Snow's a lot more than that. People doing stupid things, but there's the beautiful picture of it. And Soda Springs is getting a lot of snow as well. That's a ski ranch, Donner Ski Ranch. All the Tahoe Ski, down to ski resorts, and all the other ones are getting snow. I guess this is a YouTube live storm stuff. Oh, there's a truck being towed away. Oh man, it is munched badly. That was yesterday at Donner Pass. Oh, yeah. So you can imagine what's going on up there now. Unfortunately, Rick, you're just the opposite. You're down in the, you're facing the sign, and we're away from it up here, and we're slowly starting to come back. And by the time we hit the 102s, you'll be there like, what the heck happened? Oh, check off. Yeah, okay. At Donner Pass, you can eat your fill. Ha 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 ha. Okay, look, one other thing up here, what's I going to look up? Oh, that's why. Cal Trans cameras. I-80 cameras. Okay, so you guys want to have fun, even though you're not in California, you can have fun with this one. Before I get into the stuff here. Caltrans traffic cameras, whatever. And you can go in, and they have a map. So I'm going to go open this in a new one here just to play, so I can go to the other ones here. Select the camera. Oh, come on. Oh, there's got the drop down. Oh, there we go. The one at Elk Grove, at the Elk Grove's off-ramp, Highway 5, says severe weather until Sunday. Use caution. They're throwing up there, but I want the pickup. I want 80. There's Highway 50. Highway 50 is probably shut down. I don't travel Highway 50, so I don't know which one to pick from 50. So we're going to slide on down here to 80 at 51, 80 at Donner Summit. Oh, all right. This is live. The trucks are not moving. You can see the camera's blowing in the wind. The trucks are not moving. The snow's piled up. The snow is there. Yeah, the guy's walking around this truck there because they're stopped. You're walking about, they are stopped. So yeah, you can have fun looking at the different things there on. Let's see, Soda Springs, Donner, Soda Springs. Let's go up here a little bit closer to Truckee scales, the truck scales. This is westbound. So this is coming from Nevada this way. There's no traffic. It's shut down. There's no traffic coming out of Reno westbound. They got it shut down. You can see the truck scales up there ahead, the lights and stuff from it. But yeah, there's nothing. Okay. Oh, fun. Let me go ahead and drop that down. Yeah. Okay. All right. Just catching up on the chat there. All right. So let's get into this here now. I don't see any gardeners coming up. Don't want to talk about their gardening and their stuff going on. So, all right. So what do you want for gardening essentials? What do you want to grow? Have you made a list of what you want to grow? And I've seen some people's list has been changing constantly, including Jujubee's. She posted on Facebook, I had it down to 9, and then she has something like, what'd you have out there? 18 packets of seeds out there? That now you back up, you know. But I mean, I remember seeing she had like 3 different types of tomatoes out, and I can't remember what all it was. I just looked at it, it's like, oh man, it reminds me of what my table looks like. I want to grow so much, but I'm not ready for it yet. I got so much work to do. Oh, here comes Lewis. I know Lewis is growing stuff.
Hey.
Oh, they were all tomatoes. Oh man, I just saw those 3 in the front, down in the bottom there. The pile up close is what I saw, Juliana, and it's like, whoa. Chekhov says peppers, cabbage is what we have started indoors. Cool. I think what I'm going to wind up doing next year, not this year. Next year, I'm going to get a one of those pop-up greenhouses. So after the snow stops and it's still cold, I can put it out just outside the back door next to the lean-to. I'm going to start some 5-gallon. Here we go. Hey, how's it going?
Hi. I was finishing up a letter, so.
Yeah. I think next year I got a bunch of 3.5-gallon buckets.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It was only 16. It wasn't 19. It was only 16.
Hey, that was just, I saw that one. When did you post that? A couple hours ago?
Oh, no, that was like maybe an hour, 2 hours, not long.
I must have either looked at it over there when I was across the street, or when I just got back over here, checking stuff, and it's like, oh, wow.
Yep.
CR, only 16?
Only. I don't know where I'm going to put them, but I'm going to find them. I got a neighbor's not growing this year. She just asked me if I wanted her soil. So I'm going to go pick that up tomorrow in her backyard. She lives like 4 houses down. And I got 2 raised beds that are like 4 foot by 4 foot plastic squares for free from somebody else who was moving this about 2 months ago. So I'm like, all right, well, that's 16 and 16. Look there, I have all the room for the tomatoes I could possibly want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot to ask somebody else. Somebody else was in your position, military, Rachel Knight, and she's back east there. So I'm not sure what she's trying to do. I know she had been over in Hawaii. Last year she moved to Virginia, I believe it is, or
That's
New York.
me.
She's somewhere back east. I
was in New York, and now I'm in Virginia.
And so I'm not sure if she's I haven't caught up if she's actually doing a garden now. She's listening, she's lurking, so she may type something in. But yeah. I mean,
but no, this is the rest of my seeds for the garden. Those were just my tomatoes.
Oh,
This is
oh,
the
oh.
this is the peppers and the squash, and
Mhm. Well, Caitlin just hit you up on your channel.
Thank you, Kaylin. I don't know where they're all gonna go. Oh, make that. Oh, you got to 19. I missed a tomato. The speckled
All
Roman, the speckled Roman Roma tomato. They were too pretty. I have to grow them. They were very prolific.
right. Okay. Rachel says the land of Mary, and she will be doing a small garden. So she's in Maryland.
Maryland, yeah, it's late. I need a little more like.
So yeah, that's something I never thought of until you just mentioned it. Being in the military, being transferred from base to base, it's like, okay, I'm moving. Who wants my soil?
Yep.
You don't know.
You got to get rid of it somehow. Who wants my dirt? And believe me, it costs so much money. Like you don't want to buy it. People will take it.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I got all these seeds spread out, and it's like, oh man, okay. I've already started some indoors. I'm trying to keep those indoors as much as I can. Oh. That's one of the envelopes I got from Joe one
Yes.
time. I opened up, and it's just like seeds.
Well, we got soil from another person moving last year, and we inherited ground cherries in the soil. They just spontaneously grew, and we fell in love with them, but we don't know what they were. And I didn't know this lady, so I have no way of going back and asking her what. So we have Aunt Molly's and we have New Hanover this year that the kids want to grow. And we're going to have like a ground cherry taste off to see which one's better. Because we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't save any of the seeds from the ones that came up volunteering in the soil, did you?
I couldn't stop eating them, so no. Sorry.
Hey, that says they were good. That says they were.
Well, there was only like 3 of them, and they were only like this tall. So it was like, oh, there's one for me today. Let me hurry up and get it before the children wake up. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's get to the questions here.
Look, I got onions right here.
Oh, onions.
They're not supposed to be in a shallow container, but
yeah,
that's all right. We'll put them in a cup tomorrow.
You do what you can do. All right. Okay. So what do you want to grow? So you're growing tomatoes, obviously. And
tomatoes are my passion, but I have peppers, squash, sweet peppers, hot peppers. Sometimes we find potatoes with eyes in the kitchen that we throw in the soil and see what can happen. I don't know. Ground cherries, peas, a lot of herbs. Like, I don't know, the normal, typical, standard stuff, but all weird because I don't buy anything standard.
Yeah. When it does warm up here, I got white cherry tomatoes from M.I. Gardner.
Yeah.
And I got growing those indoors. But as soon as it's warm enough for them to go outside, I'm taking those the 5-gallon bucket and the 15-gallon bucket out there, and I'm going to be, I may leave it in the 15-gallon bucket until the roots have spread through the whole bucket and have it all bound nice together. So I get together with my stuff and take it out and plant and dump it in a planter. The whole thing stays together. The 5-gallon bucket, I can do that on my own, and by the middle of June.
So I have the gold nugget this year from M.I. Gardner.
Yes.
I used my #GrowBig, get my 10% off. We have the Mexico midget cherry tomato from M.I. Gardner. And then from Nitikova seeds, I can't say that, tomato indigo pear, which is a yellow pear that has like a blue, purple anthocyan and shoulder.
Cool.
To be a little different. We've never grown them before, and I have them. They probably came from Joe. I don't know, but my daughter loves the yellow pear, so I was like, let's grow these. They're pretty. Let's see how these taste. So those are my cherry tomatoes.
Yeah. Let's see. Rachel said a lot. The free. Let me put it up. The free page on the base. For the base we're on, lots of good things like propane tanks. That's always good and whatnot. Cool.
Yep.
Shift.
Because we can't move with them.
Yeah. Shift that. Yep. Exactly. Well, not unless you're going to drive, put them in your car and drive, or you have a trailer to tow to put the propane. Yeah, there was a couple of garage sales years ago. Oh, geez, 10 years ago, and people, they had this garage sale going on, and after it was over, I drove by it again, and they had some propane tanks. They set them out on a curb, stopped, grabbed them, went up to Home Depot to the propane exchange and exchanged and got, like they may have been getting away because tanks were leaking or something. So I just took it to the propane exchange because they will test all the tanks they get. And they do repairs. That's why you're paying that little extra at the propane exchange.
That works.
Yeah. All right. So what you want to grow figures in with all 10 questions I have up here and stuff. Because like I said, I'm having a hard time deciding. My wife is, I haven't had a chance to talk to her since we talked last Saturday for an hour and a half. But I'm kind of crossing my fingers. She pulls the trigger and tells her boss to go pound rocks and sells the house in California and brings the boys up here or something like that. But yeah. But the thing is, last year she hardly grew anything at all because she was so friggin' busy. She was working 10, 12-hour days. Yeah. She'd spend time at work. She'd come home, get back on the computer, and see the idiots, property managers that would send stuff after the office closed. So they say, "Oh yeah, I sent it on the day," and so she'd get stuff done and everything else, and then she'd dime them out to her boss and her boss's boss the next morning. But there's so she was hardly growing anything last year. The year before she grew a whole bunch of. Usually she grows a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm not sure what she's going to be doing this year. And I still want to get this garden, all the soil up to speed and going here. So we can actually have a decent garden when she does come up here. She doesn't have to spend 2 years fixing it. So, but yeah. Oh, all right, Kaylin, I ordered from Home Depot the 7.5 gallon, quote, 30-pound propane tank. It comes in a box, a plain box. It doesn't say what's in it at all. It looks like a plain Amazon type box, but it doesn't have the Amazon smile on it. It just has some numbers and stuff on it. You can't tell what it is. You order that, you deliver it, you pick it up there, and you unbox it. But they ship it empty. But yeah, so you'd have to get get someone to take you over to the place to fill it up, and then you pack it back in the box and take it upstairs, and nobody would know. So budget. What do you have to spend? Not enough. Not enough.
Never enough. Well, you know what I will say? I was watching the Millennial Gardener channel, and he has an episode, and it's called a speed composter. And you just get the $20 plastic, I think it's a 32 gallon. I don't know. It's a trash can. It sits probably 40 inches tall, and it's maybe 20 inches across. And it was like $19.97 at Walmart. It was less money there than it was at Home Depot or Lowe's, even with my discount. And you just drill some big holes on the bottom, like on the side near the bottom. And then you drill a few air holes up the side, much smaller. And all you do is put your scraps, and he goes into it much more in depth. It's like a 20-minute video, but you get compost all by itself with leaving the lid on, and it's not even I don't have the words. It's late. I'm tired. I'm sorry. There's not a whole lot of science behind you got to have this and you got to have this. He's like, no, just chuck it in there. And all last year, all we did was we mowed the grass. We put all the grass in there. I was making potatoes, the peels went in there. Okay, the kids have fruit, they go out there and put the watermelon in there. Amazon came, let's shred some boxes up and throw that in there. And I have almost an entire trash can full of compost now to put out in the garden that's nearly finished. And I've got another month and a half before it needs to be done. And we just got a second trash can. So, and my neighbor's like, I'll save you my trash. Do you want these? Do you want these? I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready for the ongoing commitment of starting a second one, but give me a week or two, then bring me all your scraps and get my life together. But that's if you have the space, because we have to compost incognito here, because I don't compost at my house. Absolutely not. We don't do that here, you know. Like, you want to talk about a HOA, the United States government is the biggest HOA there is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate HOAs.
What was that?
I hate HOAs.
Yeah. Well, the Military Housing Authority is much worse than any HOA as far as what you can and cannot do. I have to get my own raised bed gardening in the backyard approved before I was allowed to do it. I'm like, it's my yard. I will put it back the way I found it when I moved. Nope, that's not good enough. You can't just do that. Even with 5-foot privacy fences, still can't do it. Yeah. So.
But at least they have everything codified, right? It's the same on every base, basically, right?
No.
Nope. Oh, jeez.
Nope. And it's not, every base is different. Every branch is different. Every base is different. Every place is different. It's, yeah.
Okay. It is a bunch of rogue HOAs.
Yep. So it's all good. It's just, why purple? You've worked for the government. You understand these things. Don't try to understand it. Just, it's okay. What's the hoop? How do I jump through it? I will fill out the paperwork. I will follow all the rules. Like,
yeah, but unfortunately, though, when, since we set DHS as a brand new agency, we coded everything so it was the same everywhere. So if you transferred from Los Angeles to New York City, down to Miami, back up to Seattle, down to Dallas, everything was the same.
Yeah. No,
Joe's
not here.
Joe's here.
Hi, Joe.
Joe.
Boom. No.
Boom.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you have to spend? I mean, that's the other thing is, my wife and I kind of trickle during the year.
That's what I do.
A little bit here, a little bit there, but I didn't trickle this year. I just accept that I got plenty of seeds from Joe. Joe's been giving me plenty of seeds and stuff off of both Grow Big TV and Garden State Gardener. So I wasn't spending anything. And then they had that 10% discount at MI Gardener. Oh, I better finally go in and check out MI Gardener. Everyone's been talking about it for the last couple of years. So I go in there and it's like, holy moly, cats and jammer kids. It's $2 a pack. $2 a pack.
Yep.
It's like I'm spending $4 or $5 up here at the nursery, the local nursery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting less than half the seeds that are in MI Gardener's packets.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to get 12 packs of seeds. That way I get free shipping and I get the 10% discount.
Yep.
So I did 2 orders. It's like, bam. It's like, and I almost went. I almost went back to. I go, nope. I've spent enough for this year. I got plenty of seeds.
Seeds are the cheap part. It's the soil and the planters and all of the water sprayers and that nonsense that costs. And like for me and your other viewer, Rachel, was it? Every 3 years you got to replace that soil. So even if you make your own, you and blend this and this and this with the peat moss and everything, it's still a lot of money that first year. Yeah. Like I'm on year 2 right now. So in all honesty, I don't need those extra raised beds, but they were free. So sure. Well, now my neighbor's going to give me some soil. Okay. I've got the composter in the backyard. So it's like, all right, well, we'll mix that in with some peat moss and we'll make our own little blend and cross our fingers and mix in a little organic granules in there and hope for the best and put some stuff in there. But I wouldn't be able to have that year 2 if it wasn't being just somebody else's trash, because it's just so expensive.
Yeah, that's
and the prices, I don't know if you've seen the prices of bagged soil products this year. Oh my goodness. Like, it was a lot last year. Yeah. It has doubled since last year. Yeah, like, I remember when the giant bale of peat moss was $13 a bale right around COVID time. It's now $30 here in Virginia for one. Oof. For the 3 cubic foot bale, it was 29 something. I was like, why? Well, just because, you know, they don't want you growing stuff. That's all we're going to say.
The prices on everything is going up. Restaurants
all the bagged soils
have doubled. I mean, everything's just doubling.
It was $5 for a bag of the cheap topsoil, and there was one ripped open, and I looked in the hole, and it was all wood chips. It was all wood product. It wasn't even like dirt and sand. It was all wood chips. I'm like, who's gonna? And it was $5, and it's just topsoil. That was the cheapest thing. I was like, okay, we're gonna go over here and buy the leaf mold and get the 100% organic compost, leaf compost, and we're gonna, for $1.50 more, get a good product to mix in with, refresh our beds with it that way. So know your prices and learn how to mix your own stuff, because the prices are steep this year.
I like what dang, it's already going. Oh, there it checked off said it's like it's the fruit trees that are busting his budget, but he's calling it investment. Yeah, and that's what it is. You don't, if you're gonna have landscape and you're thinking about putting in a shade tree, make sure it's a fruit tree. Whether it's an apple tree or pear tree or peach tree.
So my poor husband took me to look at just the prices of soil the other day. That was our date night to the Home Depot on a Friday night, like big, wild, and crazy, right? I'm like, I just want to look at that. Well, he was going away for Valentine's Day. I'm looking at the little house plants and just admiring the flowers that will come to my house to die. And he goes, you know what? I'm not going to be here for Valentine's Day. Pick whatever plant you want, and you can have it for Valentine's Day. I was like, hold up. I can have any plant? And he goes, sure, any plant, single plant here at Home Depot you can have for Valentine's Day. I'll buy it, no questions asked. I won't give you any guilt. Any single plant at Home Depot, yes? Yeah. How many times do I have to say it? I was like, no other parameters. I go, we're going outside right now. And he goes, what? Yeah, there might be a 4-way cherry tree in my backyard right now. And he's like, wait, what? And I'm going, well, you said any plant, and it's one tree. He goes, but it's $89. I said, you said any plant. He goes, I said, nope, I asked you 3 times, and thrice you said any plant. I go, and let's break this down for a minute. It's $89, but we get 10% off for military. So that's like $80, right? And he goes, okay. I go, and there's 4 different cherry trees on there. So that's like $20 a plant. That's a bargain. He goes, but I got to buy a pot. And I go, yes, but the pot is on sale for $16. And you're already getting almost $10 off the tree. So the pot's practically free. He's like, wait, didn't we just discount the tree? I'm like, shh, don't ruin the girl math. I'm like, but yeah, my investments in my backyard, it's a 4-way cherry tree. They all have, I checked the chill hours. I checked the hardiness. They, in theory, should maybe grow me 5 cherries while we live here in Virginia. But can you put a price on happiness?
Yeah.
It's an investment, right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing with fruit trees is, you learn how to graft them and propagate them.
Yep. Well, that's the one of them says, like, patented whatever, do not propagate them, like big, bold words. And my husband said, what's that mean? I was like, that just makes you want to do it harder. Don't tell me I can't do something with what I buy. It just makes you want to do it harder. Like, these are the kind of laws I'll break. I'll compost in my backyard and I'll graft a fruit tree. Like, wild and crazy, right?
Yeah. All right. That your math reminds me of a this morning before I went over to babysit the grandsons. There was a meme on Facebook. Well, I mean, it's a reel, and the guy was talking about getting a his wife was talking about something about tool math or something, And she goes, yeah, if you buy a tool that you'd have to hire someone else to come in and do the job because you don't have it and they were going to do it, and you buy for $100, well, you just and the job was going to cost you like $100, $150. You just saved $50. And he goes, nope, that ain't the way it works. And he goes on to explain, if I buy this tool and I use it for the one job, and it was going to cost me $100, and I spent it for $100, I broke even. No, the next job I used it on, I just saved $100 on the next job, and the next job I saved $100 on that one. And pretty soon he goes in, he goes, you know, off this buying this one drill, I paid for all these other tools.
Yep. I'm down with that. You buy it once and you own it forever, as long as you take care of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay. So, all right. So we've talked about seeds and everything else. Side chat. What seeds are you planting today? Planning on planting this spring? What special seeds that you're doing? What I'm talking about that is, so I got cabbage going here in the house. I got 6 seedlings going, and hopefully I can grow 2 of them in each tray I have. But if not, I still have 4 of the trays out in the shop out there that I could use and do. And if I need to transplant them, to spread them out to be able to make it, work right. But I'm thinking about I'll probably keep those indoors all year. So hang on, we're going big. Yeah.
I can't dump them anymore, but these are all my hot peppers, and then there's 3 micro dwarf tomatoes in here that I potted up yesterday, day before. But this one and this one were planted at the same time. Which one do you think is a super hot, everyone? That's a hatch chili, and that's the Pequeño yellow piquillo pepper.
So the super hot is the small one, right?
They're much tinier because they grow much slower. But that's a jigsaw comparative. Yeah. So this is a little hotter, so it's a little bit smaller. But in general, the normal regular, that's a jalapeno.
Okay.
So and this was, I put these in January 13th, all of them. And I have 2 of the pequeños, and they're both equally small.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought I heard something about Joe mentioning something about that when he had one of the pepper guys on. I'm not sure if it was
the hotter the pepper, the longer they take to germinate typically, and the slower they are to grow. So.
Right. And Checkoff's asking about the 2 cups. I've seen several videos of people talking about the 2-cup method.
So I take a pair of scissors and I put a small little cut on both sides, so it has a drain, so it's not sitting in water. And then I have a piece of leca, which is like hydroponic rocks, but you can use a rock, a marble, whatever. And that way it drains without being sitting in its own water.
Yeah.
So I can come back in and dump the cups out 5-10 minutes later after I water, or you can take the marble out, bottom water them if you prefer that. Wait 5 minutes and then put the marble in and then dump the bottom cup.
Or you take it out, you dump it all into a pitcher and you reuse it the next day.
Yep, that too. However you like to do it or want to do it. But yeah, those are what I have started in my world. I just did them yesterday. That's why they're in this little tote.
And CD's here.
Yeah, I got my tomato plant started, my pepper plant started. I got another particular plant started. And I got some herbs going from last year. But,
I was just looking. I thought I was going to do my tomatoes this week, but apparently I don't have to do it for 3 more weeks.
I love that guide.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have to make it a mark on it because for Idaho here, our last frost date is near the last 2 weeks of May.
Same here. I think it's like May 2-4 weekend up here.
Yeah. So, but we have had snow on June 7th.
So you don't start your tomatoes until May 3rd, sir.
No, actually, I start my tomatoes. I'll be starting my outdoor tomatoes probably about March 15th, and I will have them in the 6-inch pots. And then when I plant them outside, I have the wall of water that I'll fill up and put around them, and the sun hits that and just warms them up. And I had such great success when I used it 2 years ago. I didn't use it last year, but I had great success. I had 2 years ago. I had tomatoes coming out my ears, and the grandkids were all so happy to come over and just eat all of grandpa's tomatoes they could, and they got overstuffed on tomatoes, but they just kept trying to stuff more in.
Yeah, I started my tomato plants a couple of weeks ago. They're all in their individual containers now.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with my peppers and my other plant. I got.
And so for Kaylin over there in central Iowa, mid-April's her last one.
But I got carrots and beans. I got to still get planted, but I'm not worried about them yet. I'm going to try to get some garlic too planted. I got to get onion starts and potato starts still.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to put this comment up here because CB just slammed CR. You have to run outside the day of summer so you don't miss it. Oh. All right. So, and then speaking of that, do you know your local temperature patterns? Last frost, first frost. Of course, here you got to worry about fake spring, followed by real winter, followed by second fake spring, followed by last winter, followed by real spring, followed by because yesterday there was no snow anywhere in town. All the piles had been melted for days. All right, it was nice and warm yesterday. I mean, tomorrow morning. I'm gonna have to fire up the tractor. I got the heater out there going by it, so they'll be all ready to start up and go out there. And I'm gonna probably be plowing about 10, 12 inches off the driveway tomorrow. Because it's still just coming down.
Yeah.
CB, a couple days ago, we had all 4 seasons here in Idaho and an earthquake.
And some of the snowfalls we get up here, 10, 11 inches.
Yeah, this is so we're back to real winter here. All right. So you got so when you're essential. It's essential your the local weather patterns and stuff. I mean, you had to learn that all over going down there to.
Yep. Every 3 years, that's a new weather. Because we have gone Georgia, Hawaii, Kentucky, Texas, El Paso, New York, Virginia. So literally completely opposites. Nothing is similar. So I'm forever just, it says I want to say the 20th is the date I've settled on for the average, but it's all right, we're going to go on the 20th and get the 10-day out and just look at the 10-day forecast and see what it says. Cross our fingers, say a Hail Mary for the best and go from there,
Something I found here is, okay, let me see. I want to see which one it is here. Go to my thing. Where's weather? There it is. It's, so it says 10-day weather forecast from weather.com, but it actually does 20 days for us, for here and for and California, it shows 20 days. So even though it says 10 days. So
you know what I mean? Is it looking good to put them out or not so much?
Yeah. Our cabin in the woods. Welcome, welcome. All right. Go to the next one here. The next set of questions. Okay. Last fall, did you not get them cleaned up last fall? Get them all straightened up. So, what tools do you need? That's something else you need to consider. And then, of course, there is the, how are you gardening? In the ground, in raised beds, in containers, and containers that you can actually move with you to another location. Interesting my mom, when we lived down there in Southern California, my dad had gotten some plastic 55-gallon barrels and cut them in half. So she had 27.5-gallon pots. She had a fig tree in one, and what she have? I think she had a cherry tree in another. Well, when we moved, we took those up to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. We're talking a lot of snow and cold winters up there. So we had bought bales of hay and alfalfa for the cows, and we made like a little hot box, big, huge, hot box, and we put clear plastic over and put Christmas lights in there to keep the fig tree from dying. It survived 2 winters in there in Arizona and made it back to Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah.
So, but
I had C9 bulb lights keeping a lot of my plants alive in New York. They were all brassicas and things of that nature, but we're talking -10. So to keep them alive at -10, that's too cold for even those. But I bought some C9 light bulbs and put them over it, and they did well.
Yeah, we had some old Christmas lights that big tree like a Christmas tree, up each branch and everything else, and then we had the plastic over the top, and then we put a sheet over the fig itself, so that traps even more of that heat right there on the fig.
Yeah, so I had my one of my many attempts of I don't want to say cold frame, but I had taken when you have a house that has a basement, those plastic covers that you put over the little windows, the little half moon windows, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. They're like a basement half window. It's like a plastic shield to help insulate. Well, if you buy 2 of them, they go up against each other and they fit together. So you just take duct tape, and I duct taped them together. And I made myself a plastic cold frame, and it's thick, rigid, meant to be outside type thing. And I drilled one small, 3/4-inch hole in the top corner, and I had duct tape that went over it with a tiny little duct tape tab. So during the day, when I take the kids to the bus stop, I'd open the tab so heat could escape out of it. And then when I would get them off the bus, I'd close the tab, lock in what was there, and then go in the house. And at bedtime, we'd turn the Christmas lights on, and the Christmas lights were on the ground all around it, heating it up. And I had wintergreens. I mean, it's only 3 foot by 2 foot, ish, but we had wintergreens all winter in that thing. My neighbor's like, "What in the world? Why are you decorating the side of your house in like it was?" Then they were like, "Oh no, she's just a crazy plant lady." Okay, got it. Point taken. I was like, "I own that title. Thank you very much. I wear it. I wear it proud."
Yeah.
He froze.
Beds. And so I got a bunch of them in inline, not buried, but I got them set on the ground and the backfilled up against on the one side, use them as a retaining wall for the new garden. Then I got a bunch of them that I move around with the pallet jacks. That I have the strawberries in the inside the shop right now. I got one with a bunch of the boysenberries in there. They seem to be surviving. I need to get in there and give them a little more water again.
Yeah.
That's right, Mark. Grow food, not grass. There's not been a blade of grass that we have been taking care of on the California property. Soil amendments. You were talking about the peat moss.
Yep.
Stuff. 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Shoot, it might have been, no, it was all right. The summer of 21. My wife spotted on sale on Costco.com the coconut, the husk thing. They compact it really tight and all stuff.
Cocoa coir, the bricks of cocoa coir.
Yeah, it was ridiculously cheap. She bought several of them for herself, and then she told me, "Yeah, I just got this." I go, "Will it help with this acidic soil up here?" She goes, "Yes." So I went and ordered 2 sets of them, and then she ordered another set for me as well. Those are still, most of those are still sitting unused in the shop until we get everything ready to put those into use in the garden.
So as I'm putting things away, as I'm putting seeds away right now, do you want to know what my toxic trait is in gardening?
What?
I'll remember. And they introduced pretty flowers at school that I deadheaded. Dahlias, zinnias, ? I don't know. Red tomato I wanted to save, ? Red orange yummy squash from school. Yeah. This is what I do. Like, I have no idea what they are because I was going to remember, but I at least can kind of remember what they were. But it's like, this is how I save seeds and just label stuff. I don't know. Throw it in the ground. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. Well, if it's yummy squash, it's like, okay, this should be good. It was good before, should be good again.
Right. Red orange yummy squash, ?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've gotten a lot of soil amendments. That special coconut stuff was saved for both locations. My wife has a couple of them. She's last year she brought one of the double packs up here because she said she's not going to use it down there, and she wants it because she sees the light at the end of the tunnel for retirement. She doesn't want to put it all in the garden there the year before she retires. So she brought it up here. This summer we're getting several of the cottonwood trees taken down, and when they get taken down, depending on the price of the company doing it, if they say, "Oh, this is the price," and we'll bring a chipper, we'll chip it up and put it in our trucks. How much is to chip it and leave it on the ground here so you don't have to haul it off? And see the prices of just going up and renting a big one, industrial one up at United Rentals up here, and just run it all through myself. But yeah, we're gonna be chipping a lot of wood. We have at least one dead pine tree across the street that we're going to take down and run through a chipper. So the pine chips really raise, or so I should say, lower the pH. Oh, I just got an ad. It's that time. It's been 1 hour since I started it, so we got the second round of ads coming in, guys. That's it was a 10-second ad.
Well, that's good.
The second one starting, and it's a 28-second ad. So so we're going to have all this wood. Same thing, raising acidity, lower pH, to try to get the pH down to about going to aim for 6 and try to get it there. Oh, Harbor Freight ad for Mark.
Yeah, and you want to keep a separate composter for your like basic. What I do is eggshells, banana peels, chicken bones, eggshell, coffee grinds, and Epsom salts. I deal with them all in a certain way. So to fine powder, right? The coffee grinds I don't do nothing to, but the eggshells I grind up. The chicken bones I eventually grind up in the blender, and put all that stuff in. And same thing with the banana peels, like dry them and put them in the blender too, and save it all and keep adding every spring, adding that stuff into my gardens every spring and throughout the summer. Because it's good. It's got your potassium, your bone meal, your nitrogen, your calcium, and if you put Epsom salt in there, it's got your magnesium in there.
Right. See, I got a snow ad.
But it's always good. It's always good to every couple of years, have that compost there, so you're building it up, and it's sitting for a while, and you spread it for your winter, and kind of rototiller it in, and then rototiller it in the spring all over again, right? Give it a good deep rototillering, and
what I just did, for the new garden area. I've been saving all my Amazon boxes because I just never know when I'm going to need what size box to ship away. Well, I finally went out in the shop when I started moving things around. It's like, holy moly. And so basically I started stripping all the tape off of them and stuff and breaking them down. And I was laying them out there, and between the rain and the snow, they're starting to break down out here nice and good. And I got a lot of those boxes out there. And then, so when I'm expecting here somewhere around the 1st of May to get a load of manure from the dairy up the street, and just get them to dump, bring it in a dump truck and just dump it rather than one of their spreader trucks, and just dump it here so I can, just use my tractor to spread it out. And then I bought a rototiller attachment for my tractor last fall, and I'll just rototill that in. As soon as I rototill it in, out goes the ground cover seeds, and then I'll rake those in.
Yeah, you might want to do it with your tractor. Have a big dump truck load. You can at least spread it out to where you want it and how you want it for your rototillering, instead of having one big heaping pile there.
This is being dumped in a spot where I'll go around with the tractor, scoop out what I want, spread it on the garden stuff, add it to the raised planter beds. Take some over to my daughter across the street. And I may get him to just dump a couple loads out in the big field across the street, and I'll spread that around as I get to it. But
you might.
But what I want to do is, so what I'll do is, after I get the cardboard and the new and the manure turned in with the rototiller, then I'll plant. Put out the cover crop, and give it about a month to 6 weeks to grow up. And then I get all that nice nitrogen leafing stuff there and everything else, and then rototill that in, and then plant the squash. Jeremy at Tennessee Tactical 1 is in the house.
Yeah, if you're having those trees down before that, you might want to have them do it, so you can throw in some wood chips in there too, Gil.
Yeah. So as soon as the trees come down, then I'm going to be running that. But the trees won't be down until after I get the manure and the first rototilling done. And so when I go to rototill the cover crop in, then I'll spread the wood chips on top of it, along with the activated gypsum and the sulfur, which will also help raise the soil. And then I'll get that all rototilled in, and then I'll plant the squash, and then I'll go buy the fruit trees and plant the fruit trees out there. And that should get it all set so that next year, all I got to do is just, I can surface manure it and just let it go in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I pretty much do now is I get manure in too, right? But I'm still building up, right? So I figure this year and maybe one more year of manure, a good load of it, right? Like 20 square yards or something like that each time. And it's just soil amendment and composting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Kayla, I know you don't have access to the manure and stuff, but you can order the fish, like you get the quart container and even the gallon container, but I wouldn't, for the amount of stuff you have, Kayla, I would just go with a quart container of the fish emulsion or the concentrated manure tea. I'm trying to remember where I saw that. Someplace was selling the concentrated manure tea. It's almost comes out like maple syrup. It's that concentrated, and you dilute it down. So a quart would probably last you, Caitlin, would probably last you several years.
Yeah, even you got a 5-gallon pail with a shovel full of manure in there. And
you can even find on Marketplace, depending on your area, rabbit manure, composted rabbit manure, and that can go right in your garden. It doesn't smell. It's not hot. It's relatively cheap. I've seen $8 a bag, $20 for 45 pounds. So not that she needs that much, but there's a lot of small options depending on where you are too. I'm with you. I'd get the 1 quart, but if you can't get the 1 quart, I would say look and see if you have rabbit manure, because that'll go in and it won't smell.
Yeah. Okay, got a good question. Oh, wrong one to jump. Can't wait to fish count. Okay. All right. So, yes, our cabin in the woods. That is 100% true. However, that's why I'm planting the cover crop first, which is very high in nitrogen fixing crop. And when I rototill that and then I spread the wood chips on top of that and rototill it in together, I'm adding the wood chips was taking nitrogen out, but I got all that nitrogen going in, so it's a balancing act. And then soon as I get it rototilled, I'll be planting squash, and I'll also be planting a bunch of small bush peas. So the bush peas will put in more nitrogen in, and the squash and stuff, little, not very much nitrogen in, but they won't be taking nitrogen out much.
Yeah. I did the same thing, but it's the lasagna layering. This past, I gotta get some more manure, but still, I had some trees taken down, so I put a whole bunch of the smaller branches in, lied them down, blew a whole bunch of leaves on top of that from the trees, and then I gotta get the burn barrel emptied out of all the ashes, and I'm gonna get some manure in and cover it all, pretty much, and just rotor the manure a little bit.
And that's one of the things that about during the year, because I got so much grass area around here for the grandkids to play on, I mow it all the time, and so I'll be constantly putting the grass clippings down around underneath the when the squash start growing and stuff, I'll put it down underneath the vines and stuff, so that'll be putting more nitrogen back in as well.
Yeah, and I even let the grass grow up in my gardens, and then after I'm done, like once I'm done building up, I let the grass grow in my gardens, rototiller it up, and there you go. I've got my nitrogen in there.
And that's one of the things, that I'll be doing too is next fall, since once I get everything done this year and I got grow stuff, I'll be getting another load of the cow manure in. And then just before the snow, or maybe after the first snow, I'll start scooping and spreading it on top of the garden area there, and just spread it on top and leave it, and let the snow and rain and moisture just wash all that manure down in, and I'll break it up a little bit. Hey, Teresa, how's it going?
That's Gil?
Yeah.
So when I filled my raised beds here, I kind of did a lasagna garden, but how do I say it? Like a pre-packaged mixed, if you will. So my Amazon boxes were on the bottom, And then I did the shredded hardwood bags from the big box stores because I don't have trees and trunks and all that at my. And then I got the composted leaf mold, organic leaf mold, and did my layer of that. And then the top half was all like a Mel's Mix personal. Like it was peat moss and it was 3 parts of something. It was peat moss, shredded hardwood, and something else. I forget. Compost that I bought and mixed all that up together and then threw that in. I can't remember if I put perlite in it or not. I may have. I'm not sure. So it's kind of the lasagna layer. Oh, I did have my ash from my little teeny tiny solo stove that's this big that we would put off to the side and mix that in there. So it's not quite the way it should be. But, you know, when you move in January or move in February and March, it's growing season. You're like, hurry up, just throw stuff on the ground and see what happens. And it's the Wild West out there last year.
I think Kaylin had an accident there with her with her phone.
That manure, if you let it sit with all the snow on top and all that, Gil, it helps wash everything. If it's a little bit fresher, then it's not like fully decomposed, it's okay because it's going to be sitting there for 5 months anyway.
Right? Exactly. It's going to be
there. Wash all the stuff away, and it does break up nicer like that in the spring.
And one of the things we do get lucky here. Like I said, yesterday the snow was all melted. It's actually melted everywhere for a couple of days. So all that manure then that was wet sitting out there now getting irradiated by the sun, all the UV light and everything else helping the stuff to break down. And now it's got snowed on it again. It rained last night and then it snowed today. So it, as it broke down, it got the moisture on it down back into it, and it's going to keep going down. And yes, the freezing and thaw cycles help.
And I throw a handful or two of like a general all-purpose organic fertilizer, like a 5-5-5 for good measure, because you don't really know what's in those bags. But like you said, moving every 3 years, I don't have that luxury of, well, we'll wait a year and we'll wait 6 more months and we'll wait. You got to just make do with what you got. So I get the 5-5-5 general or organic, recertified, whatever, and I'll throw that in there, and mix it in, just to make sure I'm getting a little something in there.
Yeah. My mom, whenever she had my brother and I build her a new planter bed, she'd go out and get a gallon of the fish emulsion, and when we fill the thing halfway full, she'd pour that all over, and then we throw the other dirt on real quick because it stunk.
I have dogs I have a dog now, but bone meal and fish emulsion cannot happen in my yard, or I won't have a garden.
I have a couple customers that fish on Friday. I show up on Thursday, and they will let me fill up a 5-gallon bucket with all the fish skins, trimmings, scraps, all the fish stuff. I bring it home, and depending on time of year, I'll either let it just sit in a bucket and ferment for however long, or I'll just dig trenches in my gardens in the late fall when there's nothing there. I'll just dump it in, cover it up with dirt, and by the springtime, I get pepper plants that are out of control.
Can I just laugh for just a second that you have a raccoon as your picture talking about picking up fish scraps in the garden? I'm just picturing a little raccoon burying, that's not it. And I'm sorry, but that's just my face looking at your raccoon, doing this on the screen. And
I probably don't live far from you, and I probably worked in your area 3 years ago. If you're in Virginia, I'm pretty sure I know about approximately.
Fort Belvoir.
Yep.
Northern Virginia.
Yep. I did Leesburg and Ashburn and all that stuff for years. So lots of customers I deal with. And I get lots of, I just tell them what I want. No, grab a pickle bucket and just stand there. And I'll stand there for an hour and I'll just throw veggie scraps, fish scraps, meat scraps, whatever I want. Throw it in a bucket, take it home, dump it in a garden. We're good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent resource.
Yeah, I've been getting when it's on sale at Lowe's. Home Depot doesn't have it very often. It's never on sale at Home Depot. But Lowe's will get a pallet of the activated gypsum, and they'll get the garden lime as well. And whichever one's cheaper, I'll go get a couple bags when it's on sale. And so I got several bags of each out in the shop. And about the middle of April, maybe the 1st of May, I'll when the snow is melted off again for a little bit, I'll load up my walk behind thing with a bag of that in there and just spread it all over the lawn area.
And what does that do?
It increases the calcium in the soil, so it decreases the clover and the dandelions.
Okay.
Just naturally, because dandelions love calcium deficient soil, because they send roots down and they bring calcium up. If there's calcium there, the seeds don't like to germinate.
Gotcha.
And it lowers the pH a little, and it helps add other nutrients. And it reacts with stuff in the soil naturally and helps build healthier soil. So
if I got rid of all my clover and dandelions, I wouldn't have anything green in my backyard because I don't have grass. So we're not going to do that.
Well,
I just have weeds.
Yeah, it takes a while to do it. I've been putting it out for 2 years now, and each year at first probably no dandelions. The dandelions come back in later, and after it's washed down into the soil. But,
Got it.
But yeah, you just I don't want to overdo it at one time, so I put a little on each year. Beginning of the year and at the end of the year. So hopefully, in a couple of years here, I'll have some really good soil. And of course, my wife said to stop spraying and digging up the dandelions, let the bees have them. So, but the star thistle, the star thistle goes. The star thistle goes as fast as we see it. Now, the other item, the last item on there was what are your watering plans? And Lewis was talking about drip mist or some sort of soaker hoses or something. We run soaker hoses on the lilac across the street. Run sprinklers on some areas. Some of the raised planter beds, we have the soaker hoses going through it. Depending on, like if it's tomatoes, we try to do soaker hoses so they don't spray, the leaves don't get wet. It just soaks the ground. The beans, the peas, the squash, they get the sprinklers going in the morning. So it dries out by the sun and everything else. And we only one time when my son-in-law was across the street that was turning the water on twice a day did they start to get some mildew on it, on the squash. It's like, stop, morning only. The timers are set. Stop turning it on manually. But I still have probably 2 of those black and yellow 27-gallon totes, storage totes, full of all of my mom's drip mist, the actual drip mist brand stuff that she'd been buying and I've been installing for years and years and years. And when she passed away, and it was and the property was going bye-bye, I went and cleaned everything out of her garden, pulled them all out. And what's neat is even while she was using it, they would start to use like the spray heads, the 3-gallon an hour spray heads, would start to plug up from the minerals in the water. No big deal. During the off season, we get a gallon jar of vinegar and just toss all those things in there and just let them sit there all winter long. Mm-hmm. Because it's plastic. It's not going to damage the plastic, but it's going to get all that mineral out of there.
Yep.
So mulch can reduce moisture loss. Yes, absolutely. My wife in California, if you saw any of the videos of her doing the garden tour and stuff, there's not a piece of bare earth in that garden in the walkways. She gets the bales of rice straw, breaks up the rice straw, spreads it around constantly. And if the area gets thin, it starts to get weeds coming up, she puts more rice straw on top of it. And so it stays nice and moist and keeps down the weeds. And sometimes she does get some, there's still some rice seeds in there. It starts to get some rice trying to grow up there. But yeah, she just takes the little hoe, chops down the rice that's trying to grow out there, and it just adds to it.
Yeah, I just use a 100-foot hose and water everything with the end of it when it needs it.
Mm. Put a little garden lime in the soil, and that stops the animals from digging. Okay. And one of the things, though, I've been, got from several people telling me I need to do here is to get the sulfur. I got the stuff saved. It's a type of sulfur that you put on there, and it's made for going in gardens and stuff. And it breaks down, and it raises the pH. And you only got to put it on like once every 3 years. So raises the pH, lowers the pH, raises the acidity. Because like here, my pH here is over 9. It's very alkaline. I mean, do the test strip, then go all the way to the dark color and beyond. It's like, dang, that's almost black. That's how alkali the soil is here, and with all this volcanic soil. And so the sulfur is what we need. Go ahead.
Pine needles would help with that.
Yes, pine needles will help, and unfortunately, oak
leaves too, if you can get them.
Yeah,
oak specifically.
The pine trees we had over there, we're getting a lot. We're getting a lot of their water from the irrigation ditch. Well, when I put the irrigation ditch in pipe, they weren't getting as much water. Well, I also set my daughter up with a bunch of sprinklers over there to water the lawn and stuff. Somebody, I'm not saying who, although my wife has named him dipshit, kept turning off the main water valve that the timers were on for the sprinklers. So the sprinklers weren't watering. And then you complained that the lawn was dying. And I said, you keep turning off the damn valve. Well, what does that have to do with anything? What's on the valve? The timer for the sprinklers. Yeah.
My children would understand that one, sir.
Yeah. Anyways, so we got one of the smaller pine fir. That's actually pine. It's more of a fir. Died. The other one's about died. The big pine tree, I got to take down this spring because it finally died. But that'll all become wood chips, and underneath the pine tree is about 18 inches of pine needle compost. So I'll be going in there and digging that out with the tractor.
And say that's what you want to put in when you're tilling the ground. Put that pine needles in there.
Well, some of that pine needle stuff, my wife has asked me to put it in one of the IBC totes, specifically for the blueberries.
Yeah, blueberries, they're acidy soil.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And she actually has she bought 2 of those coconut things, and 2 bags of the Canadian sorghum peat moss for up here for blueberries.
So your girl's from Jersey originally. I grew up in the Pine Barrens. And if you don't know anything about the Pine Barrens, it is called it's barren because it's so acidic in that area. Nothing but oak trees and pine trees can grow there. And what grows in New Jersey and South Jersey in the Pine Barrens? Cranberries and blueberries. Blueberry capital of the world is in the middle of the Pine Barrens. So blueberries love acidic soil. It's one of the few things that will thrive there. Acidic, sandy soil is number 1. So definitely put some sand in there, make it as acidic as you possibly can, since you have super alkaline soil, and they will be happy, happy, happy.
Yeah. Courtney asked a question about a plant. I can't remember the name of the plant, but it loves a very acidic soil, and the more acidic, the bluer the flowers get.
Hydrangea.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Yep,
So
she was asking about them. I was like, I can't remember, but they will turn color based on your soil, and you can decide if you want pink or blue, and you can make your soil do the thing, but you will be forever amending that soil to keep that up. In my experience with people, it's just see what color they turn the next year and embrace whatever color that is, because then you don't have to chase it. If you have naturally acidic, you'll have blue ones, if that's how that works. You can try to make it basic, but it's going to always want to revert back to what it naturally is in your soil. So it's like, why chase a color? Embrace it. Let it be whatever color you want.
That's why she wants to do this in the IBC totes, so it won't, because basically people
Well, for blueberries, that makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, the master gardeners say that the alkali works its way back up through the soil.
Yep.
Because there's so much of the volcanic basalt rock down there and stuff. So, so my wife's also thinking about maybe putting some hydrangeas, doing the same thing in with the IBC totes, so that she can have some very acidic loving plants in there.
Well, you can also, if she wants to have hydrangeas as like decorative, you can do like the 55-gallon drums, cut them in half, sink the drum in the ground so it's ground level, and then you have your stuff in that round tub. So that way, because hydrangeas are typically more of a decorative thing than they are like a crop, if you will. So if she wants them by the front door, sink a half a 55-gallon drum, put them in that, and let them live there, and you can amend that slightly better than just being fresh in the ground if she wants it to be a certain color.
I do that with a particular plant that I grow because it gets to 10 and 12 feet high. I stick a 5-gallon, like I dig a big hole, like for a 5-gallon pail, and stick it about halfway. I cut the bottom out, so I got the 2 holes at the top and the bottom. So I stick about half the 5-gallon pail in, and then I stick the plant in, and then I bury it up so that the roots, when I go to add the fertilizer stuff that I want to it, and the roots can stay deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So that stays right by the roots.
Yeah. My wife has friends that do hydrangeas there in California, and the number one additive for the hydrangeas, coffee grounds.
You can get them free at Starbucks.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just Starbucks there in California. There's Starbucks and 20 other smaller things all around. There's some drive-through ones. There's one over by Sam's Club, and in the morning you go by there, and it got both sides open up, and there's like 40 cars lined up, and they got their little remote thing. They put it out there, and people are ordering ahead, so they're making the coffee drinks as fast as they can, and the place is always taking out bags of coffee grounds and tossing them. Yep, you're right, CR. Flowers for pollinators. And CR also says they got Tim's in Canada. And that's one of the things.
I had borage out front last year in my yard for the bees. And it was funny because my neighbor said, well, why did you put those out front versus all the other plants and flowers? I said, because they'll bite you if you touch them. And these children that live in my neighborhood don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. And borage is kind of scratchy and rough. Nobody bothered my borage more than once last year.
Yeah, it's like, ow.
It's not going to hurt you, but you're not going to mess with it after the first time you touch it. It's like nobody wants to mess around with a zucchini plant. It doesn't have thorns, but it's not comfortable. Like it's not soft.
It's got prickly hairs.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I was like, my plants bite you back. Keep your hands to yourself. Get off my grass. Let me get the hose out.
My wife has a pair of my welding gloves. She made me leave them there in California for when she wants to pull the borage at the end of season.
Yep. I
And she
didn't
goes,
pull mine. It actually overwintered. It's still alive out there.
"Whoa!"
It's still green and growing. I'm like, we had 4-degree temperatures and it managed. There's a weird microclimate out in my front yard, and it's only this tall, but it's still green and growing.
Yeah. So, with your tomatoes, those are all going in the backyard, right?
Yes.
You need to have some borage back there with the tomatoes.
Yeah, I'll have some back there.
Yeah, because that's the only thing we found that works, and it's been working for 7-8 years now. Borage near the tomato plants, no tomato hornworms. The moth, I'm not sure. I guess it's the moth doesn't like the smell of it, so
Gotcha.
it avoids the area. So it doesn't even plant lay the seeds in the soil for the hornworm.
We had our first ever hornworms in our entire lives last year. We found 2, just 2. But let me tell you, we took them and we put them in a jar and put a lid on it, and we drove them. There's a little garden center like 3 miles from our house, and they have chickens. And we walk up to the lady. I was like, we would like to feed these to your chickens, and my children would like to watch. And she was like, wait, what? And I showed her what they were, and she looked it up because she had never heard of such a thing. And the squealing that came out of my children as she watched these chickens play, keep away with these 2 hornworms, it was priceless. I was like, no, you're on my tomatoes. Bad things need to happen to you. Like, I don't have the guts to step on you either. So I'm gonna take you to the chickens.
Yeah, the on my mom's property, which is a couple blocks from where my house is in California, she had Banny chickens and a couple Rhode Island Reds. All of her grandkids who would come around, we didn't know about borage at the time. And she'd go, all right, we got tomato hornworms. And she'd get a bowl. They'd go out there and they'd pick all the tomato hornworms off, go down into the chickens, and just for about an hour, they toss one in and watch, toss another one in and watch, knock them back in the bowl, toss another one. And then
So the lady at the
grabbed some and threw them up on the roof of her house. She on the shingles. There you go. It's going to bake up there. I go, no, it's not. Sure enough, here came all the blue jays.
Yep. So the lady who runs this little nursery, the garden center, they had a chicken naming contest for their new chicken last year, and my daughter won the contest. So she recognized my daughter and had to help her find a pair of gardening gloves for school too. So Chicken Nugget was what she named the chicken. Its nickname it's now Nugget. So she remembered my daughter. So it's like, we're not completely loony, but these things would be excellent food for your birds. Can we feed Nugget, please?
Yeah.
So.
All right. So the plant is called borage, Borage. You can get seeds from M.I. Gardner, from Johnny Select Seeds, and you can get them. And they're it's a flowering plant, and they propagate a lot of seeds. But you plant them in close vicinity to tomatoes, and the hornworms don't come around. Now, if there are any eggs still down in the soil from before, yeah. All right, hang on, let me make you big. The seed guide, borage, 100 seeds, yeah. And they like water, and it just repels the moth and the hornworm moth and the any hornworms that come up from it. Yeah, that's it, borage.
And there's a blue one and a white one, depending on your color, if you prefer.
Yeah, and if you plant both, you can get a crossbreed of blue and white flowers. My wife actually got one. It was she had planted blue on one side. She got some seeds from white one on the other side. Next year, in the middle of the yard, she had blue and white ones. It crossed.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. So yeah, it is one of my favorite pest ridding plants to plant.
Just know they're kind of prickly, guys.
Yes, they are prickly.
They're a little scratchy. I guess it's more scratchy, not prickly. But like you said, bring a pair of gloves and you can pull them right out. You'll be fine.
Yeah. The ones that we planted a bunch over next to the irrigation canal, where it makes the corner, because we had to keep that open so nothing got bound up in the corner. And I planted a bunch of them around there. Those suckers got like 3 feet, 4 feet tall. No, those were welding glove ones. Those had, they were, it's like, you grab hold of that, you're going to be getting tweezers out because it's going to break off and it's going to leave stuff in your hand.
Yep.
But
one of mine was 3 foot tall last year. It was big.
Yeah, and but it's also thing is, wait a minute, thinking. I don't think it bothered the cats. The cats were walking underneath and around it. My daughter's cats, because they were going after the voles and stuff over there. So anyway, it's a good one.
Yeah, my flowers in the garden are borage, nasturtium, calendula, and marigold. Those are the 4 that I plant and grow.
Yeah,
and manage to not kill.
My wife grows nasturtiums and borage. I'm not sure if she grows marigolds or not. I think she's tried a couple times, but didn't have too great of success with the marigolds.
Well, I inherited mine from the lady with the soil that was moving, so I didn't plant them. I just kept them alive.
Well, yeah, the first year my wife planted the borage. She had 2 of the raised planter beds where she had tomatoes, either in pots near them or in the same planter bed. And she went, and when they started dying back, they didn't win. I don't know why they didn't win her over. It's San Francisco Bay Area. We didn't have had hardly any freezes there. And
it was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and for 3 days, and they managed to survive. I don't know how.
Wow. Is your sewer line going out near there? Because the warmth from the sewer line might be keeping the roots and everything warm down there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it is, but I don't think it goes out front.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Who knows?
Anyway, she thought it was dying. It was getting, and she wanted to pull it because she was going to plant some winter squash. Well, she pulled it after it seeded.
Whoops.
And so she wasn't worried. Whatever. She had like 100 small borage plants in that area, and she'd been talking to people how you didn't have any tomato hornworms that year. And so people are asking, the next year, what was it you had that you planted there? She goes, borage. Bring some pots. Come on over. I'll give you all the borage. She was just out there digging up, the old pot, digging up borage plants and giving the people to take home and plant at their place.
Yeah. I heard somewhere they said borage doesn't transplant well, but mine was a transplant and it did perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I bought it at George Washington's estate.
Yeah, I transplanted several up here that came from California. Drove the 12 and a half hours driving here.
Yeah.
And then planted it the next day. And they did fine.
Well, these were grown in a greenhouse on Mount Vernon, George Washington estate. And I just went and I was like, oh, I've never grown this before. And I bought 2 of them and one died and one did not. But the one that grew, it seeded. And then the one that's out there that overwintered is actually a volunteer of the seed of the one that I had planted. So I'm like, all right, you want to live? Go ahead. You're green. You could stay there. So
yeah.
I might put another one on the other side next year, this year, just so I have one on each side. But we're just going to stick with sunflowers out front. So hopefully the lovely landscapers keep their grubby little paws off my stuff. If it's 3 foot tall, maybe they won't knock it over.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, we've gone a little bit more than an hour. And we still got 10 people in here. People are dropping out. So coming up here tomorrow on Gray Man Prepping, the topic is deal with your vices. And I got about I got some slideshows and stuff, listing all the different type vices. It's going to be a little bit comical. And gee, I don't have a picture of Coke in that slideshow.
There you go.
My brother would drink like a 6-pack of Mountain Dew a day. And then he started his metabolism changed a little bit. He started going, and I told him, he said Mountain Dew. And so he had to deal with that, and he finally cut that out and lost weight and stuff. But so dealing with vices your vices is tomorrow. Monday here on Camppatton Family Compound, Tammy and Mark are coming up. We're going to be talking about jams and jellies. So, and that starts at 8:00 on Monday. Well, 8:00. Yeah, 8:00 Eastern time, 6:00 my time. So figure out your other time zones from there. And we're going to be talking about jams and jellies. Unfortunately, the staff sergeant will not be joining us because she said, "Oh, I'll be driving home halfway through the your live stream." So
now she can listen.
Yeah. Tuesday on Gray Man Prepping is Disaster Laundry, talking about doing laundry in disaster, all the things you can't do. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to send you over to look at Kaylin's video from 2 years ago, I think it was. She has one of those little, powerless washing machine things.
5-gallon bucket and a plunger works just fine. Just saying.
Yeah. Gray Man on Gray Man Prepping for the Thursday night midnight ride. Still trying to figure out the hours. I'm going to be moving it up. I talked with Joe. I messaged Joe, and they're changing their Thursday Grow Big TV from, it was going from 7 to 9 Eastern. They're changing it to 8 to 10. So I'll probably bump it up 2 hours and tag on right after theirs. That way I'm not up and dying in the morning like I am right now. Because that'll be midnight somewhere in the world. And then next Friday here, we're going to talk about hydroponics. So anybody that has experience with hydroponics is welcome to come in, and you're welcome to come in. And I will have the link up at the top there. If I forget to email it to you, I'll have the link at the top. So anybody that wants to talk hydroponics, come on in. I'm going to try. I know Dustin's doing stuff with hydroponics, and I'm not sure if he'll be up for that or not. But I will send him an email as well. Oh, okay. She said that one failed. The hose broke off, so I don't recommend that one. Okay. Yeah, because when you were testing it, it was working pretty, it looked like it was doing pretty good there, but it broke off. All right, so that's what's coming up here, folks. I started today on Gray Man Prepping I started doing the Your Prep for Today video separately. And so those will be out there from now till, or until I hit the lottery. If I hit the lottery, I may just totally disappear. And you just see every now and then you see me pop up doing if you're monetized, pop up and doing a $20 super chat. All right, everyone. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time for Survival Saturday. And thank Juliana, Lewis, and Mark for coming up here, and everybody's comments in the side chat talking about their plants and seeds and stuff. And we'll see you around. Take care.
Have a good night.
Good night.